We are here today with the ACZ, an 8.5 we have here on the floor today. And the ACZ is actually a sail which offers a free ride simplicity in maneuvering and handling, but at the same time it offers a free racing, actually pure performance. The race performance is coming from the wide sleeve at the bottom of the sail. As you see here on the camber, the wide sleeve is pretty wide. It's like close to a pure race sail. So the boom opening is here, and as you see, the two cambers are below the boom. So we have the first one here and the second one at the base button down there. The camber is a wide camber. As you can see inside, I will actually take it out for you so you can see actually how wide the camber is, how big the camber is actually. This is the camber. As you see, it's a big camber. This gives a nice profile to the sail. It also allows to have a great rotation of the sail. As you can see, there's a big long piece of batten coming outside, and this gives a good pressure to the whole camber to rotate without any problems. So at the bottom we have a race performing mast sleeve. We have a low base which closes the gap of the sail on the board like a pure race sail. But looking always at the mast sleeve, but on top of the boom, so if this is the boom opening, on top of the boom, just here, the mast sleeve becomes like a wave sail, like a no-cam sail. So practically, the advantage is that if you fall in the water and you need to water start, you need to uphold the sail, there will be no water from here all the way to the top, which makes the sail very light for doing, for restarting once you fall in the water. And this is one big advantage. Plus, not having a camber over the boom, again, allows a much more smooth rotation of the sail when you change the tack. So that's another advantage of not having a camber here and having a smaller mast sleeve. So practically the sail is like divided in two. You have the race performance at the bottom and an easy sail at the top. So before we start rigging the sail, we look at the extension. Extension is written here at the base, it says 18. So if you have a 0.7 extension, you can easily set it on the 18th hole of the extension. If you don't have an extension from 0.7, which is not good, anyway, you can still check that the extension fits perfectly. So what you do, you put the pulleys to the triangle, to the first triangle here, and the ring, you actually put it to the level of the second triangle. Therefore, even if your prints are gone on the extension, you can always easily just check with this quick extension tuning system that the length of the extension is at the right place. The boom length is written on the clew of the sail. So you can already set your boom length to, here for example it's 216, so we put on the boom 216. Of course, if you have again a 0.7 boom, the numbers will match perfectly. If you don't have a 0.7 boom, it could be that the measurements will not be perfect because everyone has more or less their own way of measuring, and therefore you might need to adjust it. As we have the 8.5, it states 490, so we have here the K100 490 that we're going to use, of course. I recommend for the ACZ to use the K80 or K100 mast as they have a higher carbon percentage. The race is offering a great racing performance as well, so it's a pity to use less than 80% mast. You can also use it with the K60, it's not a problem, but of course when you're using this type of sail, it would be nice that you actually have the extra thanks also to the mast. To slide in the mast in the sleeve is very easy. As the mast sleeve is wide, this allows the mast to go in straight without having to work over the mast sleeve too much. You can just push it in almost all the way from the base. And you just have to put the mast over the cambers, over the two cambers, and then slide it in like this. Once the mast is inside, just come on the top of the sail to check that the pin is inside the mast. The first time it can be a little bit difficult that it goes in, but after it's kind of automatic. But just check it, it's always safer to check. We use the pin as we like that the sail actually is able to rotate inside the mast when you change tack. This is why we're using the pin, but of course you have to check it after you have inserted the mast. Once the mast is inserted, you downhaul the sail till you leave around 14-13 centimeters of space between the pulley and of the sail and the pulley of the extension. This is to place in now the cambers. To place in the camber is quite simple. You hold with your left hand the mast, this way I'm holding it. Then you place your hand inside the mast leaf. You place the hand not on the camber, but on the button, so behind the camber. You lay it flat, like this, but inside, of course. Once you do this, then you press practically the sail down. When you press the sail down, you push with your knee or with your leg the camber inside. It's very simple, it takes 1 second. You hold the extension with your right hand. You place your hand again behind the camber on the button, and with this right hand you pull up, and with the left hand you push down. So you do this, and with the knee you just push in the camber. It's a 3 things that you need to do, but if you do them at the same time, it's very easy to lace up the camber without using the boom of the sail. After you inserted the camber, you can downhaul the sail all the way to the end. What does the end mean? It means that we actually have a luff of 505 and the mass is 490, which means that if we have it on 18, we have to leave 3 cm to the end. So it doesn't mean that you have to pull all the way to the pulley, you have to follow what the luff length is. So you will leave 3 cm at the bottom of the sail. Remember that when the sail is new, it's possible that you will not be able to pull exactly to 505 because the sail still needs to stretch. So the first time you will go on the water, practically you might have even more space underneath here, but after one time you'll be on the water, you will use it for an hour or two, you will actually realize that you need to put more downhaul. To check the downhaul, it's not that you have to look here actually, but you have to look on the top of the sail. We have the setting mark, which means that you have to downhaul the sail till you see that the loose area actually goes all the way to the setting mark here. So you downhaul the sail and you check this. You will see that the first time you rig it, the loose area will come to the setting mark, but after you sail for a couple of hours, perhaps the loose area will be here again, and this is why you have to pull the extra 1 or 2 cm after the first use. So this is important that you follow this setting here. If you go over the setting, the sail will feel lighter but more unstable. If you will pull less than the setting, so the loose area will be less than the setting point, the sail will feel heavier and it will accelerate less. So here we have placed the boom now on the sail. As you see, we have placed, because with the adjustable outhaul, you can actually release the power to have more power on the backhand to accelerate in light wind, or you can just pull the outhaul when there's more wind to flatten out the back profile to have less backhand pressure in stronger winds. You need this. Why would you want to go without? Meaning that on the beach you already have to decide how much power to give to the sail while you don't know what's going to happen on the water. So if you actually have the adjustable outhaul, you will simplify your life. It's just like having gears on a bicycle. So it's also very easy to use. You can release, get more power. You pull, you get more power, and you can play with it according to the power you want in your sail. We have downhauled the sail to the settings. We have put the boom on, and the leech is looking already very, very nice. And we haven't yet tuned the buttons and the tack strap, so we have a look at that now. We have the tack strap. As you see, the base is very soft. This way, if you don't put it on, it will flap while you go, losing all the power of the wind coming out this way. Why? You don't want the wind to come out here. That's why you're closing the gap also when you're sailing. You want this to be tightened. So for tightening it, we put in the tack strap over the extension this way, and we pull. We pull in a way that the tack strap is not suffocating the sail in this area. What it needs to do, it just needs to give a little bit of tightness to the base. You don't overdo it this way, because you want the back of the button, of the base button, to actually open when the wind gets strong. If you tighten it too much, the button will not be able to open and you will have too much power instead of having the button to flatten out in this area and give you more speed and comfort. So once we have pulled the tack strap, you put the Velcro on the other side of the extension, you put it over here. If your extension is different and maybe it's wider or it doesn't work, you can just go from this direction this way. The downhole rope is stashed inside the net here. You turn it around and you close it nicely and clean. Battens is always something very sensible, and some people don't tension the buttons thinking that they're already set. Some people over tension the buttons, but there's actually a way to set in the buttons that they work with the sail. So the buttons are there to actually amplify a little bit the character of the sail, but not to strangle the sail. So what does this mean? It means that all the buttons under the boom need a bit more tension so that it gives pressure to the and power. Also, the top button needs more pressure because you don't want the wind to go out from the top. But all the buttons between the boom and the top button don't need too much tension. They just need a little bit to have the rope at the back not to fall out, but not more than that. So how do we check this? We are here now with the two bottom buttons, and this needs a bit more tension. How do we know when it's the right tension? More tension doesn't mean that you have to break the buttons inside the button pocket. It means that you just need to give a little bit. Also, because if you over tension these two bottom buttons where the cambers are, the rotation of the sail will be pretty bad. So you don't have to over tension the buttons. Once you don't over tension the buttons, but you just give the right tension, the camber rotation will be fantastic. So how do we do it? What I like to do is to release the button tension completely from the button. So I just keep turning till I see that there's no more tension in the button tensioner. At that moment, once I know that, I start putting tension. As soon as I feel that there's a bit of tension in the button, I actually do only a 180 degrees, not more than that. So let's do it again on the second button, which needs the same amount of tension. I release all the tension possible from the button. I will get some wrinkles at the bottom, it doesn't matter. Then I start putting tension. As soon as I feel that there's a bit of tension, I do my 180 degrees more and stop. This is the top button, and practically what I like to do is to actually just give tension. I keep giving tension. When I start feeling that I feel the tension, I give another 180 degrees. So now we've tuned the top button, we have tuned the bottom two buttons, and now we are left with the middle buttons. So the buttons over the boom and the buttons below the top button. What we do again, we put in the key, we release completely the tension of the button, we go to 0, we get a lot of wrinkles, it doesn't matter. There's no more tension on the button tensioner, and we start putting tension again. We keep going. As soon as we feel that the pressure starts increasing, we give not even 90 degrees, just like 30, 40 degrees turn. That's it. And we repeat this action for all the other buttons which are left. So here we have, as explained, the sail is rigged, it's ready to go. You have a small mast leaf on the top as explained before, so it feels very light to lift up, and this will also reflect then on the water. You have a nice deep profile down there which gives you a race performing sail, and as you see, just like a pure racing sail here, we have a nice constant leech opening, the center as well, and as you see, it's a beautiful blade. No breakages in the sail. It's just very clean, a very clean foil. On the beach, by placing the profile up and by asking a friend to push down the base of the sail this way, and practically by pushing down the top of the sail, you will see that the profile rotates and you will hear the click of the cambers going to the other side with very light pressure. In the latest production of the ACZ 2021, compared also to the 2020, we have changed the cross button. The cross button is the button which actually goes on the second camber. This was done for two reasons. The first reason was to improve the profile of the sail, and the second reason was to give a much smoother rotation to the sail. So what we did, this is like the 2020 early Batten, that it had actually the tip and the 40mm tube. Now, the latest production has a tip in the front, it has a middle tube of 11mm, and behind the 40mm tube. So what actually happens is that the length of the tip is smaller, which is the softer part, and we have included this 11mm tube, which actually gives much more strength to the tip to push the camber for the rotation. So practically, if we put the buttons into pressure, you will see that the ACZ older button has actually a very deep profile in the front, but then already goes straight. While the ACZ new button, it has actually a much more smoother and faster profile, which has increased the performance of the sail and also the push on the camber for the rotation. This is one of my favorite sails. It's what I like to use because I still have the performance of the cam sail, but it's just very relaxing because it's super light and easy to use. It feels like it has no cambers when you jibe. It feels like it's a no cam when you water start, and I still go fast like a race sail. If you're not sure which model of sail you want to buy, because we have the ACK Pro, the ACZ, the ACX, if you go on our website, on the knowledge page, you will see a lot of information, articles and videos explaining the differences between one sail model and the other. I advise you to go and look at it and enjoy it.